Hi everyone. So good to see everybody. I mean, I can't really see you, but I'm imagining seeing all of you. And welcome all the new subscribers. For the videos anybody misses, there's always a link to archival unlisted videos if you want to go and watch us. So, by the way, I will be doing a giveaway. Let's do another giveaway. Have fun with that. To only people who subscribe to this video letter. So I'll send it out maybe tomorrow. I don't want to bombard you with another email today. So today I want to talk about another comparison, especially this particular, there's the same card. This particular card, I have so much to say about Seven of Cups. It's not even funny. First of all, how crazy different are they? I think that this is another one. I remember I did a comparison to Five of Pentacles. This is another one that I think is quite different in so many ways, energetically, in terms of depiction, in terms of messages, and yet I am able to formulate and conceptualize how they are similar. For starters, this card, I'm sorry guys, every time I put up the card, the camera goes in and out. For starters, this card had a very funky relationship with me all last year. I was drawing this card so many times. I was drawing it consistently for very mundane, two literal reasons. And it was very spot on. One, when I would have migraines, which was a new occurrence to me. I don't know what the deal is. Probably getting older. Two, or maybe my hormones. Two, I was drawing this card a lot last year after drinking. So lately, me being Russian, I usually prided myself on how much I'm able to consume and not get sick. But in the past couple of years, I can have a glass of wine and have severe headaches the next day. So last year, every time I was hungover from one or even two glasses of wine, I would get this card. So to me, this card was literally either hungover or either migraines. And this year, I have a very interesting, different relationship with this card. And this is why I want to do this video, to broaden the perspective on this card. Because this is actually my card for this year. Imagine how I felt when I did your head spread in the end of December, beginning January of this year. And I pulled this card in the center. I was so pissed. I was so upset. And I thought, no fucking way. I hate you. Are you telling me I'm going to be drinking all year? Are you telling me I'm going to have migraines all year? I was not a happy camper. Interestingly, we are now in April, so it's been 4 months into 2022, and actually, my drink is almost non-existent. So I know this has nothing to do with hangovers, and I've been thinking a lot about it. And my friend Kasia, she even showed this as my card. She said, "Well, look at it as creativity. Look at it as a creative card." I don't see it as creativity, I'm sorry. But I see what she means as like this opportunity is coming up, because here we have choices, right? Here, this person is looking at all the cups. They're not all great. Some are, there's like one has a castle, one has a whole bunch of jewelry coming out, another one has some victory wreaths. There's the poisonous potential snake. So the choices that I've seen in here, and I don't even know what is that right here. Has anybody analyzed this card, by the way? What the hell is that? I need a magnifying glass. Looks like some lizard or some. I do have a magnifying glass. Some kind of animal. Let's see. Anyhow, yes, I think it's a dragon or some kind of animal. Anyhow, this card is all about options, right? So you're going to be presented with options. You're going to be presented with choices. But what are you going to choose? There's going to be a lot of things on the table. So in that way, it's a little bit similar to this. Why? Because this, and I love how Duquette describes it. He talks about it as having a little too many martinis to drink. It's like 3 is enough. You're tipsy. Here you're drinking so much, because this is really Venus and Scorpio. So here Venus is really misbehaving, right? She's up against Scorpio. Maybe she's up against confrontation of her own death, her own mortality. So what is this beautiful Venus is going to do with her vanity? She's going to drink herself freaking to death until she's on the floor and she's in her vomit. This card, actually, when I look at it, I think about vomit. I think about throw up. The colors are just nasty, icky. I think about one of those swamps. I think about the green and the gooey and disgusting. This is what I think about when I think about the card. I don't think about I'm going to be presented with choices and I'm going to have to be careful to choose. But I get it. I get it. You are presented with choices. You are presented with 7 martinis. Doesn't mean you have to drink them all. Are you going to drink them all? And this is the premise of the card that I'm realizing this year, because I'm realizing it has, this year at least, it's not so literal. It's not about drinking, because I'm not drinking, but it is about emotional hangover over moralistic choices one makes. It is about emotional hangover that one can have when you are not practicing restraint. And I'm seeing this card all about lack of restraint, all about not being able to pull yourself back, not being able to hold yourself back. And actually, I don't know if anybody has these books. They're by Marcus Katz. They're all on Source. There's, I believe, there's 4 volumes, or maybe 3 volumes, but he covers basically majors, minors, and chords. And I like it. It's good. So here's what he's a little bit closer to restraint, and he talks about it in here a little bit. He doesn't use restraint, but something to that effect. So for me, I'm realizing this is more about how you're gonna pull yourself back in terms of morality. And actually, the morality is mentioned in Duquette's book, where he says, let me find it, guys, for you, because it was actually very well said. Or maybe it's actually him quoting Crowley in the beginning. Crowley's definition in the beginning, or at least what Duquette is quoting, is brutal. This is one of the worst ideas that one can have. Its mode is poison. And I think when we are not practicing restraint, especially when it's in regards to our morals, our ethics, our values, our boundaries, think about everything that you try to restrict in terms of maintaining the balance within yourself, that healthy balance that you so badly need. It is kind of becomes a mode of poison, because in the end, what lies between the restraint on this end and a complete impulse, lack of impulse control on the other. This is almost like the id, right? The id, ego, and superego, Freudian concepts. The id, the impulse just overtook you. You just completely have no control, no capacity to hold yourself back. And this is what happens. And in the way he's right, mode is poison. Its goal, madness, I can see that. It represents a delusion of delirium tremens and drug addiction. Yep. It represents a sinking into the mire of false pleasure. There is something almost suicidal in this card. I mean, shit. Crowley could be very, very bleak with his words, right? Let's agree on that. So, how do I see this card? I don't necessarily see as you're presented with choices and how to choose and diversity and illusions. I'm seeing this more as, actually, to be honest, I'm starting to see this a little bit more positively. I'm seeing this as sometimes you have to be in the impulse, in the it, and sit in the it, and sit on the end of having those 7 martinis again and again and again, to have a perspective, to have a bigger awareness, to have a bigger knowledge, a bigger understanding that a restraint in this area of your life is needed. Because some areas of my life, like this year, I'm very restrained with alcohol consumption. So there's other areas of my life where I'm not very restrained. But the thing is, to me, it's not about holding me back. It's about maybe I do need to be actually in a swamp. Here's another example. Lately, there has been a lot of talk on YouTube about DAX overwhelm, about getting rid of the DAX, decluttering DAX, detoxing, all of those things, which are great. To each its own. It's fantastic if people are realizing that it's too much and they're overwhelmed. The point I'm trying to make is that sometimes those people, and I'm one of those people too, because I had the DAC overwhelm 3 years ago when I was just purchasing so many DACs. Sometimes, and for me, I need it, and I know that for a lot of those people too, we all need it to be on that impulse end. We needed to be in the swamp of our whatever it is. For me, I needed to be in a swamp of my own consumerism, consumption, for me personally to realize that it doesn't really do anything for me. I better off with 50 decks, and I feel better when I have 50 decks because it grounds me better. That's just me. Some people are not like that. Some people, when they are on that impulse control, that's actually their balance. They're not in a swamp. So the point I'm trying to make is that sometimes we need to go through this, and a lot of times we need to sit in that hangover, emotional hangover state, right? Just like with anything else. Sometimes we need to eat maybe food that is not best for us, and then be sick from eating food that is not best for us, and go through the cycle of berating ourselves and think we shouldn't have done it, until one day we have a complete shift of perspective and we go, you know what, I don't need to do that anymore. But this was a passage, part of the growth process that was necessary. So what does it mean for me is that this card is this card, this year's card. This is what I think. And I'd be curious to reevaluate in the end of the year if I was spot on. So far, what I'm observing about my life this year is that I have gone much more public, both in tarot community, and I have gone much more public in also my other profession as a psychologist. Way more public. I'm utilizing social platforms more. I'm using my throat chakra more. I'm much more out there, more public. I'm also creating more as a result of it. Well, that's a lot of energy to put out that I'm not used to putting out. So I can see how I'm running into that impulse. And could it be a burnout for me on the other end? Probably, absolutely, yes. And maybe this year is one of those years where I need to be so impulsive and so in a swamp of just doing and running with whatever feels right to me, even if in a result, I'm just going to be really overwhelmed, and I'm just going to be really having that emotional, literal hangover of my energies, to realize that restraint is needed, right? Because in order to learn how to restrain, don't you at least need to be a little bit on the impulse side? I think you do. So the way I see it is a part of the process, rite of the passage. And to be honest, I'm preparing myself for this. I'm okay with this because I also know that we need the juxtaposition. We need the polarity to be able to see where the balance is needed and how to exercise the balance, and to be able to learn when it's enough. Let me know, how do you see Seven of Cups? This is a fascinating card because so many, look at Marielle. She has this dark wolf, looking down, ready for the hunt with the moon behind coming up. And she writes this myth story about, sometimes you need to stray off the path. Sometimes you don't have to constantly be on a path. You have to go into the dark woods. You have to face the unknown. You have to challenge yourself. So she's kind of talking about it closely how I see it. Sometimes you need to be on that impulse in order to experience things, in order to also experience life. This is interesting because it makes me think of a devil card, right? Because it's so closely to me related to eat, and we relate devil a lot of times to eat, to that impulse of the addiction, right? The overconsumption, the overdrinking, the over whatever. And you know what? Sometimes we have to dance with devil to know that we have control and will to pull back, that we have control and will to not be fully sucked in. So let me know, how do you see this card? Again, fascinating card. I always find this very, very fascinating. I always look at this too and I think, it's so, to me, so different. I get it that there's an overlap, right? There's an overlap of what's on the other end, what kind of potential illusion or delusion is on the other end. So let me know, comment below, let me know what you think. Those of you who have new subscribers, subscribe to this, or anybody who has a YouTube channel. If any of you just want to do a VR on your YouTube channel about this, you're welcome to do it. I would love to visually hear and experience your responses. Again, these videos are going to remain unlisted because I want to, not only do I want to maintain some aspects private, but well, this is also something I'm trying out, so we'll see. But anyways, feel free to do VR, and I'll hit you guys all up next in the next couple of days with another exciting giveaway. We'll do Let's do an oracle deck. I have a good one. Let's do an oracle deck this time. Okay, bye.